Green flag back in the air. Brendan Maddox, Adam Buzzio, the whole field chomping at the bit. Green flag back in the air at Talladega. The Lucky Performance Overtime rules reminding you that if we get back around to the white flag, this race is official. Buzzio with a push from Dyer. Maddox with a push from Hughes. Zach, I think we're going to get there.
I think we will. Coming back around, Buzzio leads the group. Through the trioval we go. No caution. Sam Dyer looks to the outside. 3 wide for the race lead. White flag is in the air, presented by Whiplash Simcams. Sam Dyer is all by himself on the top line, Andrew. There is nothing that he can do. He's going to start dropping back, and Brendan Maddox is out in front by himself. I do not want to have a gap that big.
We'll see how this one works out. Maddox moves up, now moves down. That checks up the bottom side. Here comes Buzzio. Here comes Camper. Here comes Plord, all on the top side of the racetrack. Maddox now going to try and fight back on the bottom with a push from Buzzio's teammate. That's Hughes down low, and Hughes isn't pushing the 8. Now he gets there from a push from Mason Houseman to the stripe. It's going to be a drag race. Adam Buzzio, Dakota Camper. He's going to look down to the inside, and Camper is going to shove alongside of the 5. Dakota Camper, maybe. No, Buzzio's got to win this season.
Oh my goodness, what a finish.
We're finally truly in the sun in virtual Las Vegas this evening, set to go for the third race of the NORA Retro Cup 2005 season. 2003 NASCAR Cup cars mixed with the new Las Vegas Motor Speedway and mostly clear skies overhead means these drivers have a handful on tap this evening. Welcome to Pitstop TV in the virtual Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm Andrew Cardinale IV with Zach Murtis alongside, and it's a pleasure to join you for coverage of the Las Vegas 240. Today's coverage is brought to you by Harpoon Designs, by NORA, and by Whiplash Cams. And Zach, Las Vegas Motor Speedway in 2005 was much flatter. Yes, it was the old version of this racetrack before its mid-2000s reconfiguration is what I'm looking for. And you know, I think I like Las Vegas a lot better as it is now, but I gotta say, back in 05, this place was maybe even more challenging than it is today. So I do truly wonder if these drivers have a more challenging racetrack today with the 03 car on the current track, or if they would have had more challenging conditions back in 05. I mean, it's hard to say because the car is super challenging, but the track, I feel like, maybe a little easier to drive, all the banking to catch you. On a flat racetrack, it's really hard to manage that throttle. I don't know, Zach, what say you?
It's really hard to manage that right front tire on a flat track compared to this track with the new banking, but Vegas is still pretty worse for wear on the tires most times around. It can be a challenging track to take on, especially with that notorious bump down in 1 and 2. It catches a lot of drivers out, myself included, but I think there's a certain complexity to Vegas that separates it from all of the other cookie cutter style tracks, which is tough to say because it looks like Auto Club, or no. It looks like Kansas. That's what I was going for. That's Kansas and Chicago is what I was going for. But it's still very different in some ways. So I think these guys have a good challenge ahead of them going into what is going to be a long race tonight.
And of course, we do want to take a look at point standings before we get too far into tonight's show. We'll talk more about everything else later on. But there you see Hunter Sr. on top. And of course, just 2 races in. It's so early, Zach. But there you see the win for Hunter Sr., the win for Jared Skinner, and the cut line. I want to speak on this briefly. The cut line moved up to position number 10. I had to do some review, and I had to ask the series admins just to be sure. Of course, we are going with the 2005 chase format. That only had 10 drivers in the chase. That said, if you do end the 26 race regular season within 600 points of 10th place, but you're at 11th or 12th, you will be added to the chase field, so say the admins. So I didn't realize that was a rule back in 05, but apparently it was, and that is something to keep in mind as this season goes on, that we could have some wild card additions depending on how the points wind down later on this year. But let's get into the sim as we've done here. And Zach, we have got cars already on the grid. Let's go ahead and go through your ATVO starting grid for tonight's race. Of course, they qualified last week. They are set to go racing here this evening. Wayne Sparks will lead us to the green rather than Ryan Newman in the number 12 car. It'll be Kyle Busch's number 5, piloted, of course, by Wayne Sparks. They're on pole position alongside the DEI number 3 of Dalton Tucker. Back in row number 2, a couple more Chevrolets, Kevin Baumler and Josh Conover. It was the number 48 of Jimmy Johnson that went to victory lane in this race back in 05. Back in row 3, it's Dustin Kleba alongside Vincent Arthur, who really needs a turnaround to get his season going. Kenneth Chaney down on the inside of row number 4 alongside Cody Anderson. And back in row 5, the Robbie Gordon, number 7 of Ronnie Norman, alongside Jake Christenberry.
Top 10, you'll find Chase Durheim in that number 16, looking to rebound from a strong run last week at Auto Club. Jacob Gladfish to his outside. Behind them in the 13th spot, you will find Jared Skinner and Bruce Ackerman to his outside in 04 and the 84. Right behind them in the 15th and 16th starting position, rolling off at row number 8. You'll find car number 8 on the inside, starting 15th with Brady Motes, and to his outside in the 16th position, number 28 of Nick
Gillis.
Guileless, thank you. Oh my goodness. 17th and 18th on the grid, you'll find Brad Fulham in the 91, and Hunter Sr. in that number 4 car to his outside in the 18th spot. Rolling off 19th, you'll find Cody Smith in the 42, and Donald Kite in the 20th position in that number 21 car.
And back in 21st, a newcomer to this season, at least, Blade Timmons filling in the number 77. Chance Durheim will start his outside. Back in 23rd, Matthew George in the 25, Kyle Tubb in 24th. Back in 25th, it's John Scavnicki in the Elliott South, the number 38, with Joseph Andujar III to his outside. And in row 14, it's Christopher Heights and Nick Ham. To complete your top 30 this evening at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, Ryan Housden and Brian Jones.
Only 6 cars left on the grid. You've got John Porter in the 43 with Craig Martin to his outside of the 22 car. 33rd on the starting grid, you'll find Jason Steptoe and Dominic Bettini in the 33rd and 34th position. And then rolling off at the tail end of the grid, that's going to be row number 18. That's going to be Brandon Jackson and Noah Blackwell in the 18 and the 66. That is your 36 car starting lineup here tonight. I'm sure we've got race details to go over and weather conditions to follow.
Let's go ahead and take a look at weather conditions first. Here you go. 67.5 degrees in the air, on track 81. A little warmer certainly on track than it is in the air. I think we'll see that be a theme, of course, today, as we do have mostly sunny or partly cloudy skies. Pretty low humidity. The wind's a little high out of the southeast at 12 miles per hour currently. We may see that fluctuate to the south just a little bit over the course of the race. The session date is set to yesterday, 2/15/26. And if we take a look at Whiplash SimCam's race details, here they are. That didn't get updated. Well, I can tell you it's a 160 lap race, 240 miles. We'll have those updated shortly and ready to go before we get too far into this race. But, Zach, I'm glad to be here. It's always fun to check in with the NORA Retro Cup Series by Harpoon Design. A big thank you to Harpoon Design and to everybody who makes this series happen. We do have Clark Contracting Power Rankings on the way. We'll check in with those by about lap 20 here this evening. But boy, this is going to be a fun one. The first true mile-and-a-half intermediate of 2026 for the NORA Retro Cup Series. We will turn the engines down and turn the music up here and see who's ready to roll the dice in Sin City this evening. It's the Kyle Busch Las Vegas number 5 on pole position. Wayne Sparks leads us to the green, and we are racing at Las Vegas. Down the Nella super stretch into turn number 3. Alrighty, that number 5 stretching its legs. Wayne Sparks looks good. Dalton Tucker not too bad as the 81 is sideways off of turn 4. A big catch there by Kevin Baumler. Everybody continues on. Look at Chase Durheim down low.
They're all over the place, and Durheim goes up to the point, takes over the 6th position. He's going to be right behind Norman in that 7 car. What a move right there. That was all wishy-washy all over the place, but they made it work. We're still rolling. We're still having fun, and down to the bottom goes that 16 car of Chase Durheim trying to take that spot away. Looks like he's going to get it up to P5, and Sparks sets the fastest lap of the race as he starts to set the pace over Dalton Tucker in that 3 car.
And there they go, down the back stretch, down to turn number 3. Just listen. There's not a sound better in stock car racing, in my opinion, than this era of NASCAR Cup car ripping by a static camera. That is just the best sound. Out front, 3 laps complete. The number 5 over the number 3. Josh Conover settled into 3rd place. Kenneth Chaney looking good in 4th. How about Chase Durheim in the top 10? Chance Durheim a little ways back. The number 17 did not have a great qualifying effort. He runs, matching his car number, back at the 17th spot as this race gets going. And we'll see everybody fly by the speed shot this time by.
Starting to get ever so closer to Sparks' back bumper. You see the whole deal just cycling through.
First real battle right here on screen. Nick Gillis with Jacob Gladwich down low. The 28 and 20 nearly made contact there in turn 1. They've got the Fontana race winner on the outside, the 04 of Jared Skinner, who's working his way by. That'll put the 04 in the top 10 if he can just get that spot. It looks like he will. Maybe.
Just about. gets a good run off turn number 4 and is going to get clear of the 28. Does not pull all the way down, leaves the lane open, and they all file in. Oh, Glidgeorge hits the wall in front of Brady Moats. The 8 car is going to sail on by, and that's going to bring up the 4 car, not the 04, the 4 and the 84. Up on Glidgeorge, who takes it to the bottom, trying to hold pace best he can. And everything gets sorted out about as quickly as it started. The 04 and the 28 back to fighting up front.
For the race lead. Yellow and blue versus blue and yellow. Here we go. On the back straightaway, the number 3 of Dalton Tucker has the run, and he will nose ahead and clear the number 5 of Wayne Sparks. It took just 7 laps for the number 3 to take over here at Las Vegas. Dalton Tucker had a great start to the season going initially at Daytona. It all went awry at one point in time, and boy, it got, well, it really, the season was okay to start at Daytona, I should say. It went completely wrong at California a week ago. This is exactly what we were expecting from Dalton Tucker. We were told coming into this season that he was going to be one to watch on these intermediates, and sure enough, to the point here early, within the first 10 laps, the number 3 might be the strongest here tonight.
Looking like it early on, already getting about 4/10 in front of the 5. Little tap to the wall for Sparks. Here comes Conover. Rolling up on the back bumper. Rolls it high in 1 and 2, avoiding the bump on the bottom. Crosses it up on exit. Gets a really nice run. Sends it down to the bottom, and the Hendrick Motorsport cars are going to be side by side entering 3.
Conover getting the nose ahead, now clears the number 5. Gets the power down and starts to drive out of turn number 4. Meanwhile, Chase Durheim has just cleared the 14 of Kenneth Cheney. Of course, Cheney was great at the start of last week's race at California, so we certainly expect more from him on these intermediates, but it was ultimately Chase Durheim who led the most laps at California a week ago. Cheney involved in an early incident with Dalton Tucker. Those two kind of completely derailed their races after that incident, and Cheney did battle back for a top 10. I was looking over results earlier and was actually pretty surprised by that, but I didn't even realize last week that he came back into the top 10 after that massive crash out of turn 2.
I think you'd love to see it at least. I think there are a lot of guys that are going to start surprising us as the season goes on, but only being in a race 3, we've got a long way to go. We've got some hard battles to be fought, and look right up in front. Durheim underneath Sparks. This is for the 3rd spot.
And so I see the YouTube comment that you only hear one of us talking. I just want to check to see if that's maybe now been sorted out. Jason Brooks, I see Mike's working on my side, but Wayne Sparks gets passed up there by the number 16. Lap number 12 or 13 for that as we get deeper here into the early stages of this race. A long ways to go. That said, this is a far cry from the 267 they ran back in 05, about 107 laps shorter, as Cleva has a moment there off of turn number 2. That's going to allow Jake Christenberry to get by.
Going topside, number 11 makes the pass. Not totally clear now. Clear. A little bit of contact behind them. Saw Moats and Senior going at it down into turn number 1. It was just out of camera shot. Rolling down the backstretch now. See just how much they're getting single file. Up and behind, there's a couple of fights going on behind just outside the top 10.
Mentioned we would take a look at the race details before we got too far into this race. We can do so here and take a look at the fact that this is a 160-lap, 240-mile race, 77% fuel load out there, 10 change sets. I found something out today talking with the series admin, Zach, that these guys used to have back in 05, they used to have unlimited tire sets. Because I was asking, why do we have 10 change sets? That feels like a lot. You know, let these guys maybe work with a tire limit and have to conserve their stuff. No, apparently they had unlimited tires in 05. Again, one of those things you just don't realize until 20 years later, apparently.
Goodyear brought that many tires?
I'm sure it wasn't actually unlimited, but I'm sure the big teams could buy some sets off of, you know, smaller teams that parked early in the race. I'm sure it wasn't literally unlimited, but regardless, enough to have 10 sets here for this race. Felt like a lot, but if these guys had that many tires at their disposal back in the day, then it makes sense. As look at all this racing deep in the pack. Ryan Housden has got one heck of a view ahead of him, Zach. Here's the onboard.
We're riding on board with Housden. Definitely a hornet's nest right up in front of him as he tries to fight his way through. Down low on the other Durheim, Chance Durheim in that 17. Gonna try to take away the 21st position. Can't quite get it done, battling back on the outside. Chance Durheim in that 17 car, trying to make it work. Couple of fights going on up in front as Housden gets clear. Now he's got his sights set on the top 20.
That number 84, fans down low, that is Bruce Ackerman. He made the switch, or I guess the jump into that number 84 last week at California. It was LJ Hernandez behind the wheel back at Daytona, but things changed over at that team. Hernandez jumped into the number 6 last week, and I don't see Hernandez here today. But we certainly hope to see the number 6 back on track soon as we get this season properly rolling. There is Dalton Tucker. I also mentioned we would take a look at the power rankings, Clark Contracting power rankings by about lap 20. Let's do it here on lap 19. Hunter Sr. leads the power rankings coming into tonight, and I think these rankings will mostly make sense to everybody if you've watched the first 2 races of the season. But to see the McClure number 4 on top, Zach, I don't think anybody would have had that bingo or had that on their bingo card coming into this season. Now Hunter runs back in 12th currently, but he has been fantastic to get these 2 races opened up, and even his teammate Jared Skinner has been pretty good. He's down in 4th spot with 54 points to his name. Other surprises I would say would maybe be the 42 of Cody Smith. Had a good finish going. He's actually right behind Hunter Sr. here. Had a good finish going back at Daytona. Almost won the race. Could have won the race. And he was not too happy with Dalton Tucker about all that. But, hey, the 42 finished well at California a week ago as well. And needs to pick it up here tonight. 13th right now, but it's a long race.
Yeah, some notable drivers also on that top 10 power ranking. Josh Conover, who was in that photo finish, that spectacular photo finish that we had for Daytona. And going into Auto Club, he just had a horrible race. Could not really recover those laps down. Now he's running in the 2nd spot in that number 48 car, so it's nice to see him still trying to hang on to what he's got in those power rankings. Donald Kite, Dustin Kleba, like to see them there. The only car really that is, or the only driver that's really catching my my fancy that's not inside our top 10 right now is Jacob Gladula. He's 9th on the power rankings, and he's a little bit further down the running order. It's been having a few issues trying to get up to the front. You see him running right behind Brady Moats. He is currently in the 17th position, so he's dropped 5 spots on the night. Would love to see him pick it up a little bit more as he taps the wall. It's not the first time we've seen him tap the wall this time tonight.
Yeah, the number 20, not doing bad, but could definitely move forward, that's for sure, as he runs here in the 17th spot. But again, it's an early check-in here. Well, a lot of laps to go. We've still got to make our first pit stops of the night, and we're told that those could come, if we stay green, around lap 35 to lap 38. We did take an extra pace lap here this evening, Zach, so we could see them have to pit slightly sooner, maybe a lap, if that. I think really it would just be a matter of, a half lap difference, considering they were driving around at caution speeds, likely in 4th gear, not burning too much fuel. But the number 3, Dalton Tucker, out front this evening. Josh Conover sitting in the 2nd spot. Chase Durham, I don't want to discredit the fact that he's 3rd, Zach, but after the 74 lap sled a week ago, I really thought we would see him, leading early again here at Las Vegas. There's certainly still time. If we get a caution, reset things, he could absolutely get it away, but I do have high expectations for Chase, at least, after last week at Daytona, or California. Even Chance, I think there's a little bit of pressure on him, but they are both rookies to this series, so they haven't driven with all these guys as much as some of the regulars, as Chase gets real loose there off of 4, and the 5 is going to take advantage.
Yeah, that was a big wiggle right there by Durheim off of 4, and now you've got Sparks to the outside, and that number 5 car outside line has been boogieing, I'll say, throughout the early opening laps of this race, and there you see it, big run off the top side. Wayne Sparks puts that number 5 Kellogg Chevrolet up into the 3rd spot. Makes it work.
Kevin Baumler, the number 81, slow. Oh man, that's a lot of damage.
Big damage. Gladulus, I saw him sliding off of turn number 4. It was a big mix-up.
Kite was slow too there for a moment, but this is going to be terminal for Baumler. This is huge. I believe Pole Sitter back at Daytona had a good run going there. Was even decent last week. There goes the right front tire off of that car. That would be a caution for sure in NASCAR, but
look at the tire, it's still going.
It was keeping up. It's still rolling back there. It's like, can we use the statics maybe to follow it? Let's see. It's just there it is. It's down there.
There it is. It's still going.
Don't have a great way to follow it, but there's Kevin Baumler getting out of the inside. Just want to make ssure he got off the racetrack at least, and he does. So he will slowly get around to pit lane. But let's see how this happened. He was racing back here with Hunter Sr. into turn 1. Kevin in the top 10 in power rankings coming into this evening. This is not what he needed. Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah, in front.
Yeah, he was just a victim. So that starts up with Guileless in the 28 and Tubb in the 32. Here they are.
Run side by side, everything looks normal. It's going to be down here to 3. Oh. Just comes right up.
And then you see Guileless come down a bit, and that's where Gladulus got down onto the apron and went for his slide off of the corner. He got back up right there in front of Ryan Housden and kind of checked things up there on the 15 car. But, you know, I want to go back to this, and this is actually going to be very similar to the opening incident at Las Vegas in 2005 between Brian Vickers and Dale Earnhardt Jr. In that case, it was into turn 1. It was like lap 14 or so. And Junebug got into the corner a little too hot, as he said, and just got in the back of the 25 car. And I was kind of wondering if we might see something similar tonight. This is pretty similar. Just different corner, different cars involved, but the inside car just gets up into the left rear of the outside car, and other cars get involved as a result. So there you see the 8 go by. Thankfully, it was not the number 8 involved today. But boy, that was obviously not ideal for Kevin Baumler. Guileless and Tubb ultimately get away okay, but it's going to be Baumler with all the issues, as Guileless is in the pit lane taking some extended repairs.
It just occurred to me, if you were a Dale Earnhardt Jr. fan or a Brian Vickers fan, well, more or less for Dale Earnhardt Jr. fans, if you were a Dale Jr. fan at any point in time during the 2000s, you're pretty wary to mention Brian Vickers and Dale Jr. in the same sentence.
Yeah, I mean, they had multiple run-ins back in the early 2000s, then, of course, again in 2009. Problems, though, here for Chase Durheim. He's been in the wall significantly, Zach. The right front is towed out big time. Even as he turns into the corner, he is down now to 11th spot. He was just 3rd very recently. Yeah, this car is not handling right at all. Again, Chase led 74 laps at California last week, so certainly the hopes were high. And he feels like an early Chase contender for sure, but yeah, you can see the right front is sticking out, going in a straight line even into the corner.
Not good. Gonna have to do some sort of repair on the pit lane. I'm hearing pit stops calling out though, Andrew. 11 car to the pit lane, so Kristen Berry, the first one calling out on driver radio to come to the pit lane, and he is a little bit in a peculiar position right behind 16. He's gained some track position.
No, he was up in about the 4th spot. We're watching a replay here of Chase Durheim trying to find the incident with him. And at the time, you see Christenberry was behind the number 16 of Durheim. This is off of turn 4 a few laps ago, and yeah, there's the contact. Wow.
That's a big impact right there. That's
but you know, I'm surprised though that did it for Chase. You know, Christenberry gets away, and they hit about as hard as one another. Christenberry goes on fine.
Square.
That's interesting. Yeah, you see Chase realized pretty early the car was not okay after that. He has not yet hit the pit lane. Christenberry has in the number 11, and I do wonder if that was due to some of that damage from that impact to the wall. Christenberry gets away.
Anderson in the 33 is going to be heading to the pit lane now.
Josh Conover pitting.
That's your third place, or second place car, actually.
And he's not alone. He brings in the 5 of Wayne Sparks, so teammates there. Cody Anderson in the 33, as you mentioned. Dustin Kleba in the 9. Blade Timmons even in the 77 comes in. Joseph Andujar back there on the 07.
Cody Smith just called out that he's going to be pitting the 15 car. Houston's coming on in as well.
And
there's our
race
leader. Dalton Tucker to the pit lane. Checking, of course, from our scoring pylon that you guys cannot see. No black flags at the moment. Everybody's making it in nice and simple. That's just on entry, though. Watching exit as well. There's Cody Smith into the pit lane.
Ryan Housen. There's Chase Durheim coming in. Christopher Heights also in the number 2. Oh, I was hoping we would see the Mobile 1 paint scheme that Rusty Wallace ran here in 05, but it's a good one too, of course.
He ran a Mobile 1 scheme?
He did. 05 Las Vegas. It was a good one too, but there's Kenneth Chaney on the racetrack. Has not yet pitted this evening. Stays out here. Ronnie Norman comes in meanwhile, along with a bunch of cars. Skinner and Senior both come in here on this lap. I'm trying to get to them. There's Ronnie Norman coming in. Skinner and Senior follow him. Tubb is in. Moats is in. Chance Durheim is in. So everybody getting their stops done. Kenneth Chaney, though, continues on. Now he's going to pit.
You know, as we roll through these pit stops, Andrew, I want to take into account the fact that we've got cars going laps down, and one driver is trying to recover his race. That's our 6th place starter, Vincent Arthur. He ended up having an issue. He's 6 laps down right now. Should the caution come out, that would not play into his favor, trying to get his laps back, because he was the only car 1 lap down at the time.
He's actually fallen out of the race, yeah.
Oh, that's the 2nd time that's happened, actually.
Trying to go back to it, see if maybe it was incident or connection related for the 24 car.
Yeah, connection related, unfortunately.
That's what I thought. Yeah, here he is just a little bit ago, so hearing that it's connection related for Vincent Arthur once again this season in the number 24. And unfortunately, Zach, you keep piling up incidents like this of connection difficulties and race dropouts, and it's going to be very hard to recover. I'm not saying impossible, just difficult for him to recover back into chase contention by the time we get to September. Here is Jacob Gladjulich into the pit lane. He went a lap farther than everybody else, despite the issues with getting into the wall earlier. So he's in for service. Of course, it was Tony Stewart who won the NASCAR Cup Series championship back in 2005, so some big shoes to fill there for Jacob here in 2026.
Absolutely. So much we could really discuss over the course of this. I want to take into account as well just how much the top 10 has changed going through the pit stops. There's Ronnie Norman. He fell down a little bit into the 7th spot. Look at Cody Anderson. Worked himself up into the top 10.
And they just swapped spots. Norman ripped around the outside of Anderson in the 33. Anderson pitted 2 laps earlier than Norman, so you can see right there what 2 laps can do for some tires. Yes, it can get a car ahead with the short pit, but as soon as they get back on the racetrack, Norman able to get ahead as there is a caution out. Bruce Ackerman, turn 3, watch out everybody else. There goes
Oh, boy.
Heitzer on the outside. That was the 10 of Beniti down low, or Bettini rather.
Doing a good job of locking
There go
it
the
down.
leaders.
That's a lap down for the 84 car. But, oh man, you hate to see it. Looking at it, a lot of front end damage. Should be able to continue, but that right front looks towed in the opposite direction, so I'm not sure how well it's going to go.
Of course, the 84 run in 2004 for Kyle Busch before he made his rookie season in 2005, the number 5, replacing Terry Labonte. But in this case, the 84 has been extended over at Hendrick Motorsports. And Ackerman filling those shoes here in this season. Donald Kite just gets the left rear and
Sends the 84 around.
it wasn't the 25, but it was still a Hendrick car that ends up nosed into the outside wall after some left rear contact here at Las Vegas. So I guess some things are still the same.
The more things change, the more they stay the same.
And the 8 was in frame there, just ahead. Moat's right ahead of this as Ackerman just got dumped. You know, I certainly don't want to incriminate Donald Kite. I do not believe at all that this was intentional. But, to put it bluntly, Zach, he dumped it. They were just racing for position. Donald comes up and just gets his left rear.
Well, what else can you say? It's a pretty clear cut and dry incident. But it changes the complexity of this race. We've made it just under a third of the way, and there's the contact. Yeah, it's hard to tell if the 21 came up or the 84 came down from that angle, but we've already seen the previous angles to make a better determination of how that went. But car's on pit lane.
Handful of stops going down. Jake Christenberry first off the pit lane, it looks like. They'll be followed by Gladjulich. Gladjulich typically runs through, so he does so here. Christenberry, it seems, may have taken 2. Kleba 2 as well. Smith 2. The first car on 4 is going to be Josh Conover. And let's actually go back. I want to confirm whether or not those cars ahead actually took 2 tires, or if they took fuel only. See, there you see even the 3 came in of Dalton Tucker, but Conover got out ahead of him. Meanwhile, Christenberry, let's see, for him, this 9.3 second stop, does he take right sides or is it fuel only? It is right sides. And let's see, for Kleba, same. And for Smith, I'm going to assume it was also right sides on the number 42 for Cody Smith. They all get out right together. So as these guys pace under caution and get ready to go racing again, of course, it will be single file restarts, as was the case 21 years ago. But I want to revisit the power rankings brought to you by Clark Contracting this season. Hunter Sr. still on top, as we mentioned. Kevin Baumler, second coming into tonight. That's going to change, as he is, of course, 18 laps down in 36th position. How much is it going to change? I don't know, but I'd imagine if he's still in the top 10, he will be very low down the top 10, that's for sure. I think guys are certainly going to fill those gaps. Conover, if he can keep this run going, he certainly looks poised to fill one of those top few positions. And who knows just how much Dalton Tucker could jump up if he's able to close in on a race win this evening. There's still a lot at stake. It's so early in the season, these numbers can change so drastically in 1, even 2 races. So all hope is not lost yet for any of these guys in the Clark Contracting Power Rankings, and certainly the chase as well. It will, of course, be a single file restart. Wayne Sparks going to lead us back around to the green flag. John Skavnicki is at number 38 in second place. Then Jake Christenberry, Jacob Gladjulich, and Justin Kleba. 3 lap cars down low as we get back green flag racing at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Big run off the corner for all the lead lap cars. Those lappers down low not having a great time getting restarted. Skavnicki, though, still behind the 18 of Brandon Jackson. So all of the Gibbs cars here on the front straightaway as Jackson's a lap down. Kristen Berry and Gladgelich run third and fourth. Josh Conover gets by the 42 of Cody Smith. That's a big spot for him to grab quickly here off the restart. That's Nick Geilis down low in the 28 car. The next car ahead for position for the 48 is that white number 9 directly ahead.
Gladgelich right there on the bottom.
Yeah, you're right. It is Gladgelich. That's right.
I was about to say, are we just glossing over Gladgelich tonight? Kristen Berry goes quickest on that lap, sitting in the third spot as Conover continues to rip that middle line. I think that middle line, Andrew, it's going to start showing itself throughout the course of the race because it's a great blend between that bottom line and that top line. Top line, great for getting the runs off. Bottom line, great for defense. And with the middle line, you're just covering both at the end of the day. On board with the driver who has led a good majority of the lap so far, Dalton Tucker. He's looking to split the middle, maybe 3 wide here. No, thinks better of it. Stays in line as Kleva goes quickest that time. And Tucker is just boxed in, not really with the speed he has, but with the air coming off the back of both these cars. It's just going to be difficult for him to find a way to punch through it unless he takes the run. Here it is, trying to poke his nose 3 wide, baby. Look at Smith dancing off of turn number 4.
I always enjoy these driver's eye POV shots we have, no matter what car it is, but especially in these kinds of stock cars. Watching their hands do all this work, listening to the engine. I mean, 8,100 RPMs as he picks the throttle back up in the middle of the quarter. That's something you don't see anymore. Not in Cup, not in Xfinity, not in ARCA, not in trucks, not in late models. Meanwhile, battle for third getting going. Kristen Berry and Kleva were side by side there off the corner as they ride behind Skavnicki. This top 4 is starting to pack up a little bit.
Still pretty single file for the most part, though. Down into 1. Kristen Berry to the top side on Skavnicki, seeing if he can find a way to point that Joe Gibbs number 11 forward. They're going to be side by side off of 2. Kleva with the run down the backstretch as well. He's going to try to see where he can stick that number 9 car and potentially find his way around at least one of them. Conover sitting back there. Whoa.
A lot going on here. Conover's going to have a run. He goes down low of Kleva. It's by the number 9 by turn 1, and Conover stays low. Of course, Conover, the first car on 4 tires in this group. That said, Skavnicki's are only 6 laps older. So not a big difference, but maybe just enough. As the first side-by-side battle is back there with Brian Jones and Ronnie Norman. They get single file. Now it's Anderson and Housden.
Housden trying to make that run on the bottom work. Not going to be able to get there just yet. Anderson keeps a hold of it. Cheney right behind him. That's a lap car on the bottom. Gets by with relative ease, and now sights set on the leader. Wayne Sparks just up the road in that number 5 car. Holding pace like he was from the start of the race. Just needs to do a good job of hanging on to those tires.
As these laps are going by, the 11 definitely seems to have the advantage. Question is how long until he gets there, and can he just get by? As you see Conover working now on Skavnicki's side by side there.
It's for the 3rd spot. He got by Kleva as well.
Skavnicki falls back into 4th. Conover takes over 3rd as Kristen Berry pulls up on the 5 car. He has arrived. Like an overnight shipping package. The 11 is knocking on the door of the race lead here. Lap 57 pulls up right behind Wayne Sparks, but he got out of the gas and just let Wayne live his life and dive back down into the corner in turn 3. He's going to try now in the outside lane. Can he get there? Great battle for the race lead. I don't think Christenberry's trying too hard right now. Maybe just trying to pressure Sparks into a little mistake.
That's all you can do sometimes, though. You just gotta be there to make sure he makes that mistake.
Battle now is the 11, I think, saw the 48 coming. Decided to kick it up a gear and get by the number 5 car of Wayne Sparks. So lead change now, lap 58. Josh Conover on approach. It's interesting that Dalton Tucker's having so much trouble in traffic. He is still back here south of the top 5. As there goes Brian Jones, maybe through the grass. Monster trucking down the front stretch. Hang on to it, he will. And he pulls back up south of 15th position. Cody Smith, Jacob Gladulich, they battled just ahead here of Dalton Tucker. Remember, he led all those laps to get this race started. 33 to be exact. Now he's stuck back here in what is now 7th spot as he gets by Gladulich on the inside. Smith out front. Remember, these two have a bit of a history this season already.
That's a lovely little wall tap right there as they're still side by side for that 7th spot. Down into 1. Dirty Air off the 42 is just holding up Tucker, trying to move around, and Gladulich is going to get tight. Oh, that was really close right there. A little wiggle and slots in behind the 3, and now down to the bottom goes Tucker to try and find a way around that 42 of Cody Smith.
Yeah, I don't know how serious their beef actually is, but they have gone back and forth a little bit in Discord conversation. I don't know that it's entirely serious. I might just be having some fun, but I know that the 42 is going to have Daytona on his mind all season long. And, some contact maybe off of turn number 2 there. If anything, I think Cody's just going to make it a little bit harder for Dalton to pass right here. You know, Cody Smith was not happy with the end of Daytona, says that Dalton prevented him from winning the race, basically, as Skavnicki falls back out of the top 5 now. So I just wonder how difficult Cody will make it for the 3 car to get by again. I don't know that it's all that serious. I don't know how much these guys know each other outside of this league, but I do see the conversation, and I think it's fun to talk about. Maybe we have a rivalry, maybe not.
You never know.
The car is checking up. Oh my gosh, I see why. 3 wide down here to turn number 3. Hunter Sr., newcomer of the 66 of Noah Blackwell, Craig Martin, Brady Moats, Nick Ham, Jared Skinner, and a whole bunch more, all in one little pack right here.
That 66 just reminded me that Kmart existed. Oh my goodness.
Not anymore.
Well, it did.
Once upon a time. Skinner on the outside of Brady Moats. Contact there. I don't think Moats knew he was down there. Or up there, rather.
Skinner just tagged the wall a little bit more after the contact was made.
Oh, let's watch out. Oh! Big in the wall. And that's it. Massive hit for the 8 car.
And that is an engine expiring on the 8 car for Brady Moats.
Moats is done once again. 3rd week in a row.
The 2 car pit for repair flag. The 8 car pit for repair. 88 car pit for repair.
Here's the 2. The 88 you said is also damaged. There he is.
Right front disconnected on that race car.
And we saw the 04 go around and all of that. Honestly, Zach, I think he got the least amount of damage, but it's still going to be crippling damage for last week's race winner.
16 laps shy of halfway. Take a look at the replay here. Pretty clear what we saw happen there is coming off of turn number 2. They made some more contact, and
just 2 corners in a row. Moats was not clear.
This is coming up off 4. Pushes tight in the wall, and I think Skinner just said, you know what, I'm done.
I don't know if it was that or if... I'm not really sure. That is a really tough looking incident even after the contact in the wall. But for sure, I mean, that was 2 cases of Moats just using the 04 up. One's off of 2. That was okay. That's racing. But then here, I mean, how much higher do you need him to go?
That's a big hit. He's he's going to have some hefty damage. Saw Craig Martin go through the grass.
And obviously, again, to clear air, it's not like any of this is intentional on Brady's part, but to, again, be blunt, Brady did just run him in the fence. Here's Skinner's on board, just boom. He's on, yeah, I think he was just trying to hang on to it.
Looked like it for the most part.
I don't think there was any intent in coming back down and catching the 8 car. I think it was just trying to hang on to the race car at that point in time. And I do want to see how the 2 is involved. He's 13 laps down. Okay, so yeah, no worries about him.
That was a separate incident, one that we can go back and look at another time.
Oh, just a monster hit from Moats.
And Brady Moats is taking that car to the garage. He is done for the night.
I hate that as well for Nick Ham. Here's his onboard. Just minding his own business. See Chance Durheim. What do you say, Zach? Is Durheim's moment there and Murtis mega miss?
I give it a good nomination just so we don't end up missing one like we did last week.
We don't always have mega misses. It's hard to find one, but I think this one might apply for Chance Durheim at the 17. Yeah, that 100%.
And then we're just finishing up pit stops under this caution flag as we've been looking at the replay. Big thing to note, coming off of this caution flag as we finish up with the replays here, Dustin Kleba. A speeding penalty on pit road. The 9 car has gone to the tail. And that's not something you want to see. He was running up towards the front. He was inside the top 10. And, well, he is a bit further down the running order now.
And there's driver number 9. He'll be going towards the rear of the field.
Tucker's
Dalton Tucker,
him.
yeah, he's also back here.
That's surprising to see.
Tucker took some extra time in the pit lane, so I wonder if maybe he met the wall at some point and wanted to make sure he had every corner of that race car completely squared away and repaired.
I wonder if he had a similar incident to the 2 car, but I can't say for certain what actually ended up happening with that.
The car looks clean, I think, for Tucker. Again, might have just been a little bit of damage that he wanted to get cleared up, but it looks okay. As there are your race leaders. Wayne Sparks going to lead us back to the green after a 4-tire stop. Everybody seems to have taken 4 tires and fuel. We will have 29 cars take the green flag with us under power. 4 of them a lap down or more, those being John Border, Bruce Ackerman, Jason Steptoe, and Nick Geilis. And a handful of cars now out of the race. Lap 67 will become lap 68 here. Wayne Sparks brings us back to the restart zone. We are racing once again in virtual Las Vegas, Nevada. Oh, Conover going way down low there. Wonder if maybe he was trying to shy that 28 of Geilis away and make sure he doesn't have a lap car contesting him here. Oh, Geilis, massive hit to the outside wall.
And he's still in the wall. He is holding that car up there. That right front has to be broken on that 28 car.
That was a really, really big hit for the 28. He's going to peel it off the wall now. At least try to. There's a handful of cars coming still. He gets back going, but Zach, that is a bunch of damage on that Ford Taurus. So a bad day getting worse. A bad season getting worse there for Nick Geilis. Once again, last week had more trouble.
We're only 3 races in, though. We got plenty of time.
Yes, but man, a lot. It's a lot of the same guys having the same kind of bad luck week after week. And I know, again, we're only 3 weeks in, as you say, but just a rough go of things for guys like Arthur. I mean, shoot, Arthur, Baumler, Geilis, Moats, Ham even, Heights. I mean, just continuous bad luck for those drivers. At the very least, up front, we do have some good racing. Here's Christenberry and Smith battling for 3rd and 4th. Side by side, Christenberry will relent and give that spot up. So Smith now jumps up into the top 3. Skavnicki doing pretty well for himself. Zach, he was going backwards on that longer run we just had, or I guess middle length run, if you will, that we just had before that most recent caution, but he dropped out of the top 5, was falling through the top 10, but that caution I think saved him, put him back on even footing with everybody, and now he's back in the top 5.
That he is, and it's great to see getting back up there into the top 5, and it's still a whole different top 10 than what we saw at the start of the race. You have guys like Dalton Tucker a little bit further down. You've got Chase Durheim, who is a little bit further down as well. That 16 was running up inside the top 5. He's 23rd at the moment. Brady Boats is out of the race. He was running inside the top 10 for a little bit. Tucker is still in 19th. Now you've got Anderson. Chaney inside the top 10 is something I didn't expect to see because I thought he was a lap down not too long ago.
Chaney, of course, one that we're watching after his stellar start to the race at California a week ago. Calvin Baumler chiming in, of course, is out of the race this evening, so he's checking in over on YouTube. And Zach, I could have sworn he had trouble at California a week ago. I'm pretty certain, and he can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty certain he at least had trouble at Daytona. And I think that's what I'm thinking of as the Hendrick teammates get to racing here, Sparks and Conover. I do suppose he is second into the points coming into this evening, so the 81 has had a decent start still to the season, but I could have sworn he had trouble at the very least, and at least some stuff to overcome at Daytona, which I guess is why I was thinking that he has still had some bad luck to get this season going. But regardless, we don't want bad luck for any of these guys, as there's been plenty to go around these opening couple of weeks of the season. This battle, though, between teammates Sparks and Conover. Sparks gets back out ahead, and I know we were fawning over Dalton Tucker in the 3 early on, Zach, but maybe it's time to consider Wayne Sparks as a potential favorite to win this race.
We're 5 laps shy of halfway, and we're seeing still that consistency we've seen all race from Sparks. He dropped off quite a bit in the early stages, but he's starting to rally back a lot more with that tire saving. The one that I'm looking at is Josh Conover in that 48 car. He has been lightning quick since that last round of pit stops. He has rolled up to that number 5 car. The Hendrick Motorsport cars are clicking away from the field. You can see the separation from second down to third, just about over a second, 1.2 seconds between the 48 and the 42, as it's down to 0.3 of a second between the 48 and the 5. I still think that Conover is due for a good run. There's a fight for third.
Of course, Conover had an internet disconnection at California last week early in the race that put him a couple laps down, never did really recover. But he's had some speed so far as these guys battle inside the top 5. Smith, Christenberry, and Skavnicki. Gladulit's just behind 6th. That's certainly good to see. I know he didn't have the greatest of starts to this race. I think this is showing, though, Zach, that this field is pretty even across the board. And at any point in time, they can get spread out and just kind of get into different spots. They can mix around and hold their own. I mean, there's parity, I think, is my point. There's a lot of parity. A guy can go from 20th to 5th pretty quickly. It just takes the tire strategy and whatnot to fall his way.
Strategy. How I loathe I don't know. I feel like I have some decent strategy calls half the time as the 25 car is slow.
That, of course, is Matthew George.
Heck of a save.
Let's take a look back at it for Matthew in the number 25 car. I mentioned earlier the drama between Dale Jr. and Brian Vickers here in 05. That 25 didn't make it more than 14 laps in that race 21 years ago, but here tonight, Matthew George doing decent. This, though, a bit of an excursion. Wow. Multiple times that could have been overcorrection into the wall.
Oh, baby.
Wayne Sparks leading. That 0-4 is a lap down. Jared Skinner getting back on the racetrack a couple of laps ago. He's actually a handful of laps down, 13 to be exact, as he runs in the 30th position. That's a big blow. So to win at California 1 week, 30th the next, that'll take the wind out of your sails pretty quick.
Hey, that's racing, though. It just tends to play that way sometimes. You have to take the highs with the lows.
You do. Meanwhile, battle here between Norman and Housden. I saw a couple of laps ago Norman dropping off the timing and scoring sheet as if he was having a few connection blanks. It seems to have sorted itself out now, just this far side of halfway in this 160-lap race. One thing we've not yet looked at this evening, Zach, is the series schedule for 2026 or 2005, however you want to look at it. Here's a look at it, though. Daytona a couple of weeks ago to open us up, California last week, and now Las Vegas here this evening. Yes, Atlanta next up, Bristol after that. I'm excited for the short tracks. I have not seen these cars really on a short track at all yet. So Bristol and Martinsville will be fun. Texas, I think, will be another run-of-the-mill intermediate. I'm excited for Phoenix, though. It should be the old Phoenix, and that was always a fun race back in the spring. And then, of course, I will be excited as well for Darlington to Richmond. I like the shorter tracks, the driver tracks, typically under 1.5 miles, but I can still get excited about Talladega and Charlotte on each side of those two. So Dover should be fun. I mean, all of these races I think will be fun with these cars. I'm especially excited to see, though, how these guys do at Montreal there in the summer. And then, of course, Rockingham making its place in the chase, taking over, I believe, the other Dover date technically, as they have limited both Dover and New Hampshire to one race apiece. I think Montreal in for the early New Hampshire race and Rockingham in for the late Dover race. So that's a look at the series schedule here in 2026 or 05, however you want to look at it. And if you're wondering what the heck we're talking about calling these cars 2003 NASCAR Cup cars, I've got some car stats for you. Here's a look at them. These are truly the 2003 NASCAR Cup Series cars. It's the Chevy Monte Carlo and Ford Taurus from that year. 358 cubic inch pushrod V8 engines, 900 horsepower. That's the big number to watch for there. Back to the H-pattern 4-speed gearbox, if I can get the words out. They do have larger fuel cells, 22 gallons. 200 gallons would be a long time. 22-gallon fuel cell, but we're running 77% in the non-Crown Jewel races this season. So 100 in those races like Daytona was a couple of weeks ago, but 77% here in this race tonight. The rest is about as you expect from a Gen 4 NASCAR stock car that raced from 1992 through 2007. Getting back to it though, Zach, Josh Conover not letting the 5 get away.
Staying right in his coattails. He's actually closed a little bit throughout the course of the run as Bladulich is on the inside of the 38 Skabnicki. Housden has worked his way up inside the top 5 as well. Great run there for the 15. He's been having a good shot at getting back up there. Bladulich, you saw him get a little bit of free coming off the turn number 4. That's going to allow Norman in that number 7 and Cheney in the 14 to close in, start making it a 4-car battle between these guys coming off of turn number 2. Bladulich still trying, but he's getting so loose down there. I don't think he's going to be able to make much ground up if he keeps shaking it loose and that rear end keeps snapping around on him on corner exit.
These cars, of course, get loose more easily than you might expect. They have a lot of horsepower. Putting that to the wheels on quarter exit, it's a recipe. Yeah, it's a recipe to get the cars sideways. That said, I mean, you got to drive the car slightly sideways, at least a few degrees to make some speed. But too far sideways and you can be in a wreck in a hurry. As Cheney gets crossed up there down the straightaway behind Norman. It's sorted out by the corner as Cheney's looking middle. Might go 3 wide.
It was around this time, 2005, earlier on, going into the later years of the 2000s, as they're really getting tight right here. It's when these guys decided that they wanted to start running these cars with a skew. And then I think NASCAR finally stepped in and said, you know what, enough's enough after Sam Hornish Jr. in that infamous All-Star Open race to get him into the All-Star race. That was a big old skew on that race car, but that was also in the car of tomorrow.
Yeah, well, the Twisted Sisters were a big part of NASCAR Cup racing and, for that matter, Busch and Nationwide racing back in the day. That was just a big part of running the Gen 4 bodies and chassis, and that even made its way into ARCA at the time and for years to follow. So that was just part of it, even in the car of tomorrow and even in modern NASCAR trucks. I think really the only cars that you don't see skewed anymore are the NASCAR Cup cars of today, the Gen 7 cars. Even Gen 6s had some skew, and even today's NASCAR Riley's Auto Parts cars have a bit there. Part of it's natural, but definitely I think teams are more limited now in what they can do with hanging the bodies in O'Reilly's and Cup Series versus trucks and ARCA. But as we do approach some pit stops here in the next 10 laps or so, I'll be intrigued to see if anybody pits, significantly early, or if anybody tries to stretch the fuel out to hit a fuel number that they want. If these guys can go 30 laps, 30, 35 laps, I think really the window is open for them really any time to pit now, pit one more time, and then go to the end, because, if you back it up 35 from 160, that's 125, and that's only 32 laps away. So I think really the pit window is technically open for these drivers, but how early do you truly want to pit, Zach? I don't know.
It's a touchy situation, I'll say, when you really want to take that pit stop and how you want to play your strategy moving on through this race. We've got just under 70 laps to go, and now we see a fight for second right behind the leader. Cody Smith is caught up to the back bumper of that 48 car of Josh Conover, and he is starting to reel him in. The tire wear is starting to take effect on that 48 car. He's dropped off a little bit from Sparks, closed back into Smith. The top three still out and away from the other drivers. You see Christenberry and Houston just out of camera shot coming into frame, and then way on back to Blazelich.
Slow car, it's Dustin Kleba in the 9. He is into the pit lane. That would be why he's slow. So I mentioned
hit going into the pit lane.
I mentioned the window's open, and Kleba goes ahead and takes advantage of it. He's going to come all the way down here late to his box. And I would think everybody from here on out should be taking 4 tires and fuel. There's Nick Geilis getting back on the racetrack. You mentioned that it was a close call for Kleba getting into the pits. Let's take a look back at it. This is the lap leading up to it. He's just got Kite behind.
Heard some driver chatter. Didn't hear a call out is what I'm hearing, but
might have thought he had enough space. Here's a look from Cleveland's back bumper. Yeah, that was close.
And Cleva almost missed the pit lane too. Little late on the entry.
So from the perspective of Donald Kite in the 21, here it is. Potentially another Murtis Mega Miss?
Potentially. Here it is.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. Here, Cody Smith now coming to the pit lane. That's our 3rd place car.
He is, and he'll be joined by the 48 of Josh Conover. They both come in here. And that brings in Ronnie Norman at the number 7 as well. So 3 leaders coming in here on lap 97 onto 98. This should prompt more reactive pit stops now from the leaders, I would think, from guys like Sparks, Housden, Christenberry, and more. Brian Jones doing a good job. I mentioned at California last week he has a high I rating, and he should be towards the front. He's starting to make good on that, as Housden has issues here getting down to the pit lane. That might be unsafe entry. I'm not sure.
Well, thankfully the commitment line is a little bit further down, so he cuts himself a bit of a break right there, but that was so close. I put 4 tires on that car after sliding that hard. That was a big time send into the pit lane. Doing his best to gain some ground, realistically.
He gets down and away in a hurry, and we'll head back out onto the racetrack. Skavnicki and Andujar also in. And Brian Jones now will pit in the 45. If I can track him down, there he is.
And our Daytona winner, Hunter Sr., out in the lead right now in front of the 14. He's got Chance Durheim right behind him. Blackwell in the 3rd spot.
These guys should have a little bit of time if they want to go for it, but they do need to pit soon. We are now to 60 laps to go, this time by the flag stand. There it is, 60 more on the board here at Las Vegas. Senior, Cheney, Durheim, Blackwell, and Tubb, your top 5. I don't think I'd want to be running late here in this run. I think I would want to pit earlier, get the stuff out of the way, but that's just me. I'm sure these guys have their reasons for going a little bit longer, Zach, but I don't think they can go much longer than they've gone as Tubb gets the wall there out of turn 4. And we'll now go side by side here with Cody Anderson for 5th. That's tricky. You don't want to be too wide as you're about to pit. So Tubb, he's going to want to try and get back clear of that 33 car. He will, as now Durheim pulls low. Senior had a problem. Cheney went by. So Cheney takes over the lead in this little pack, and none of them are pitting.
Not just yet.
There's Conover.
Conover. Oh my goodness, that was close.
He is pulling through this group. Matthew George just pitted.
And he's about to get his lap back the hard way too, which is detrimental to these guys that are running in front of him. Here, Tubb is going to the pit lane. 33, Cody Anderson's calling out. Blackwell's calling out, so this whole group behind hitting the pit lane right here.
Well, that was
tight
close.
On those entries.
Jackson comes in. Chase Durheim comes in. They will hit the pit lane, and here's Kenneth Cheney getting passed up by Josh Conover on those new tires. Cody Smith trying to go through as well. And boy, what happened to Wayne Sparks?
I'm not sure.
He's not too far, but oh, watch this!
Oh no!
I spoke into existence. There goes the 5. There goes the 15 of Housden. Hard in the outside wall. Wow.
Durheim with some front end damage on that race car as well. Andrew, if the commentator curse was ever a thing, it would be on your head right now.
I have never. Hey, what happened to this guy? Oh, nothing. Oh, now he's crashing. I have never. That's unbelievable.
And talk about lucky breaks for Conover. He just got his lap back.
Sparks is done. Sparks, Housden, Durheim, they're all likely out of this. At least for a while, if not the rest of the race.
Sparks makes it down to the pit lane, and there goes the left front tire. He's going to hug it into the pit lane, though, so...
Something tells me the repair bill for the number 5 car might be hitting my P.O. box soon.
I'd expect it.
Sparks got to come all the way down. He was, of course, our pole sitter this evening. So he's going to come all the way down to this final box. And, yeah, that's done.
Ran through his box, too.
Well, you don't have a left front tire. It gets a little hard to stop.
That is true.
So 17 of Durheim is really the catalyst behind this all. He gets into the wall here off of turn 4. And if I may, well, let's watch it through once.
Oh.
That's what we saw, but if I may go back and explain why I was even asking about the 5 of Sparks to begin with, give myself some lead-up time here. I saw him, well, of course, not ahead of the 48 and 42, despite being ahead of them going into the pit cycle, so I was confused as to where he went, and then we found out in a hurry that he just fell behind them a spot or two, and then this happens. Chance Durheim grabs the outside wall, ricochets down into the 5, who then spins down into the 15 of Housden. Kleba, beautiful timing to get through that, but the 5 and 15, oh my gosh, big hits.
I think a bigger thing to look at there as well for Kleba, as long as he didn't run that car through the grass or get any incident points, he will be the free pass position, or the lucky dog as it was called at that time when it was sponsored by Aaron's not too long ago. Kleba rolls it down to the apron, checks up. Oh my goodness, and that, my friends, is going to be another nomination for Burtis Esports' first mega miss of the night, because that is what keeps him in contention and gets him back on the lead lap.
Definitely a miss that he needed to make, that's for sure. Everybody's in for service, just about. Of course, all the leaders needed to. Cheney Sr. and others, but this is a huge break for Conover. Not only is he caught back up, he gets a free stop. He's going to restart third. But now he's got those two McClure cars ahead of him for this restart. Let's see if we can dial him up quickly and get a word with him before we go back green. Give me just a moment to drag him into our production booth, and we'll speak briefly with the number 48 of Josh Conover. And Josh, it's been a good race for you so far, certainly showing some muscle, but not too many laps led. This, though, obviously you don't want your team to get taken out, but it might clear the way for you with the 5 car out of the race.
Maybe. We'll see. Wayne was having a heck of a run. I'm gonna actually delay the caution here while you have me with you.
That's all right. I was just going to have one more question for you. You know, there's been word about the McClure cars this season. Obviously, Hunter grabbed the win at Daytona, Jared last week at California, and you got 2 of them now ahead of you. Do you think Cheney can get this one, or are you trying to take that away from him today? You know, what's on your mind in that regard with both of them right in front of you for this restart?
I mean, I'll give it to them. They're driving their butts off this year. I think, truthfully, Cody and I had a strategy right there. Sorry if I'm messing up. I was kind of trying to do admin duties at the same time. But, no, hopefully we got something for them. I think in the first round of the race, Dalton and I were kind of in our own zip code a little bit. And I burned my stuff up ever since then. So I almost need somebody in front of me to kind of chase and manage my tires for me. But we'll see. I hate that Wayne got wrecked in that one. He was having a career night, truthfully, and I need a lap lead. Being up front this much finally is killing me. I need some bonus points here.
And I'll keep this one quick for sure. Any extra pressure considering Jimmy Johnson won this race back at 05?
Oh, for sure. I even commented on your post, like, there's no way I'd pull it off here. This is probably, truthfully, my worst mile and a half we go to, and I know everybody makes fun of me because they call me Eeyore, saying I'm worse than what I actually am, but like I said, this is probably my worst mile and a half, so to even be top 5 most of the night, you know, it's pretty good, and hopefully we can stay out of trouble and stay up here.
Well, best of luck. Still a long ways to go, but the 48 seems to be well equipped for the journey.
Appreciate you, buddy. Thank you.
Get him back down to his teammates, but Josh Conover having a good night so far, and yeah, he keeps saying that he's not that good, Zach. He's been saying that since Daytona, but he keeps running up front when he's able to run up front. Obviously, the disconnection at California, we could go, kind of derailed that, but tonight, that 48 has looked really, really good.
If this is his worst mile and a half, I would hate to see him on his best mile and a half.
Right. Well, we're about to go back racing here. 51 laps to go when we get the green. We'll be chatting with Ryan Housden here shortly. But for now, here we go. Restart zone on the way. A handful of cars a lap down on the inside of the racetrack. All lead lap cars on the outside. Jared Skinner is down there on the bottom, a lap down, but here we go. Green flag on the way for Kenneth Cheney, Hunter Sr., and Josh Conover racing once again here at Las Vegas. Conover not able to do anything there with the run he had on the 4 car to turn 1. He'll slide back down to the middle lane in turn 3 and regroup for another run at it. So, as these guys get settled back in, Zach will bring in driver 15, Ryan Housden, and that might have been the hardest hit since your teammate took one on the front stretch, Ryan. The DEI car is having a rough night. What was that one like for you?
Oh, hey, that one, yeah, I think I'm feeling it in my neck after that. Hit that outside wall pretty hard head on, so brutal.
Yeah, the 8 car, the 15, both having some trouble. Obviously, it's been a rough couple of weeks now for Dalton, but he's starting to get back up there. So, you know, as a teammate, obviously, you're all trying to work together to run well while you're still on the track, but now that you're off the track, is there anything you can do to help Dalton out?
Yeah, after we're done here, I'm going to get back in the session and just, kind of give it an eye from the sky. There are not many pit stops left, so I don't know how much strategy is going to be involved, but just give them some tips on what other people are doing or what's around them and stuff. That's about all I can do.
And I'll be honest, I was a Mikey Waltrip fan for a long time. I got to meet the guy a couple of times, but back in 2005, his biggest claim to fame really was the restrictor plate races. What can you do on some of these intermediate races coming up? Obviously, Atlanta next week to bring that 15 towards the front of the field.
Yeah, I was doing it tonight.
You were?
I was feeling good. I think if that goes green, I had as good a shot as anybody. Running some fast laps, made it from 29th up to like 4th in line, I think, for that pit cycle and stuff. But that was fun. The intermediates are kind of where I'm best, I think. So feeling pretty good about Atlanta next week. And yeah, super speedways are definitely my weakest spot. So being Mikey is kind of a little bit ironic, I guess.
Yeah, to be in a DEI car at all is kind of ironic. But hey, Ryan, good to chat with you here this evening. Best of luck, and hopefully we're talking to you under better circumstances next time.
Yeah, I'm going to do what I can to make sure it's a podium interview. And I'm just going to thank my mom and dad for watching. Thought I was going to be able to put it in victory lane for them tonight, but didn't quite happen that way.
Hey, there's always Atlanta next week, and in the 15 car, there's always Daytona and Talladega. But again, Ryan, good to talk to you, and hopefully we're talking to you soon.
Yep, you two have a good broadcast. Hopefully it's a good finish.
I'm sure it will be a great race so far. That's Ryan Housden in the number 15 this season. Teammate, of course, Dalton Tucker, who just had a moment there off of turn 4, Zach, and he fell back outside the top 10, but still plenty of time for the number 3 to get back on the saddle and get up there. He's in 12th now, battling with Brian Jones. And on the Brian Jones topic, obviously the 45 is a pretty important car number this week, considering yesterday's festivities down at Daytona, but he's got a 55 or so 100 I rating, Brian does, and that's best of anybody in the field. I'm surprised we haven't seen more of him out front, but this is starting to be a little more what I would expect from a 5500 I rating, in this kind of field, with 27s leading, 34 in second, a 36 in third. He's starting to move up and show that I rating that, maybe this isn't his main car, Zach. Maybe he doesn't typically run these cars, but the I rating's starting to peek through.
That it is. Finally starting to see the speed out of this driver that we have known him for. And working on getting up into the top 10 at the moment. Just trying to find his way through. Pick them off one at a time. We've got less than 50 laps to go. We're coming up on 40 here shortly. There's still plenty of racing left. And, oh my goodness, excuse me. If I do my math correctly, we've got one more stop left on the day.
We do. 42 laps to go this time by the flag stand, and somewhere to the tune of one stop. Well, certainly will be to the tune of one stop in the middle of this somewhere. I mean, these guys can go, we've seen 35, 36, 38 laps, to a run, depending on if they want to stretch fuel or not. So I would expect these guys to pit probably with about 20 to go if I had to guess. Try to split things down the middle. Make sure they don't run too late on these tires, but also, just try to find the sweet spot, I guess. But, early at California, a week ago, Zach, there we go. It was Kenneth Chaney we were watching. The 14 was out front, leading a bunch of laps, and he looked strong. Now, late in the race here at Las Vegas, again, he looks strong. So it's that middle in between where he had the incident out of turn 2 that took him out of the front of the field last week. Now an incident brings him back forward, and he's got a chance to shine. I'm telling you, this guy is going to win a race this season, if not tonight, very, very soon.
Have you not learned your lesson with Sparks? Stop talking about where people are or how good they're doing.
That's the whole point.
But man,
that's why we're here. We got to talk about where people are, including the fact that Cody Smith has gone by the 48 of Josh Conover. Just talked to Josh onto that most recent caution, and he was restarting third. I thought he looked like a favorite to win this race now that his teammate Wayne Sparks was out of it. Yet here we are. He's dropped a spot. And honestly, he's not moving forward. But Zach, I really truly believe this race, if it goes green to the end, and that's a big if, but if it does, I think it'll come down to when you make your stop. I think this is where your line of not wanting to be the first of the pit lane might actually come true. I think in this car, you don't actually want to be the first. You want to be maybe a lap or two later. You want to cover up the undercut, because then when their tires start to fall off, yours come back alive and you pass them back. But we'll see. I do think it's going to come down to when you make your final stop of the race, if it goes green.
I'm going to flip my script a little bit here tonight. I think, based off the trends of the race, maybe short pitting is going to be the way to go here. Because, I don't know, with how these guys are running and how the tires have been, I think if you can get to the pit lane, be a little bit early, you might just be able to have those tires and get back up there and get yourself some track position. I mean, look at Conover. We're talking about how he's lost track position, how he was the favorite, as, there it is, Dalton Tucker's coming in. But he put himself in position to get his laps back the hard way. And he got himself on the lead lap before the caution came out because he had those tires. I think the short pit is going to be the way to go.
We'll see if anybody else comes in here this lap. It was the 3-car lap ago. Nobody else comes in. A lonely pit entry camera down there. Nobody opted to come in there on lap 124, so they go just a little bit longer. We'll see exactly when these guys decide to pit. I guess I was about 5 laps off of what I was truly meaning to say when I had my previous best guess of when they would pit. I said 20 to go before. I was thinking more like 25, trying to split it. Not pit too early, but not pit too late. I do want to quickly talk about one car kind of midfield. He's actually cracking the top 10, the number 10, of Dominic Bettini. You know, I went back and I watched the broadcast of this race from 2005 a little while ago, earlier today actually, and that's why I'm brushed up on what happened with Brian Vickers and Dale Jr. and stuff. But in that race, Scott Riggs actually made a little bit of noise. He was under the weather, but still able to run that race. A little bit of a different paint scheme, but I got to support the Nickelback number 10 here for Dominic Bettini as he's cracking the top 10. This is a big run for an outfit like that. The number 10 at the time definitely needed those bigger runs over MBV Motorsports, and I mean, it's 10th place for him currently. If he could just keep that up, that would be a big night for the 2005 number 10 car for sure.
Hearing cars heading down into the pit lanes some more. So, starting to get a little jam-packed back here, though. Brandon Jackson, that Joe Gibbs Racing, number 18. That infamous Interstate Batteries paint scheme. God, I love that car. Just a little bit further up.
Was the car that pitted, by the way.
Ooh, is Conover pitting here? No, he got a little bit lower, so I assumed he was going to be pitting there. But rolling up on Hunter Sr. now. I don't know, Andrew, you talked about how we thought he was a favorite, how he lagged back a little bit. Now he's kind of coming to life a little bit. He's caught up to the second place car. Heck, even Pike has kind of come into the play a little bit more as well. He's got that 21 car up into the 4th position. Craig Martin is inside the top 10 as well. That's a surprise to see. I've had the pleasure of racing against Craig a few times, and you know, he's definitely gotten a lot quicker in recent years, and it's nice to see him running up inside the top 10 in this Gen 4 car.
We need to get him some Trading Paints Pro and get the Bill Davis Racing number 22 on there, but good to see Craig out here working towards the front of the field. Dustin Cleveland pitted that lap, so more drivers making their pit stops, but yes, the number 22 having a good night so far here at Las Vegas. Hunter Sr. losing a spot, maybe. Battle here with Josh Conover.
Big run up on the top side. We've seen just how much they get squeezed up there off of 4. Conover gets clear. He's up into 2nd. We've got 30 laps to go.
1.8 seconds is the gap for Conover to Cheney. That's hard to make up in this kind of car. That's not exactly easy to just make up, as you see the modified number 17 re-entering the racing surface. That's Chance Durheim. And there's your race leader. Kenneth Cheney leading the way. He's now got 30 to his name. And Zach, I think it's a good time, right before these pit stops. Should we do it now or wait until after?
You pick.
You know what, I would start it now. We'll probably take so long to pick our drivers that we'll end up crossing into the pit stops. So we will go ahead, we'll wait on these pit stops to happen, and immediately thereafter make our picks for North American Racing League Driver of the Day. But fans, be aware, it's about to happen. And I want to give a big thank you to our partners here with the channel this evening, of course, Whiplash Simcams, MXWraps.com, ATVO, Murtis Esports, CC's Business, and the North American Racing League. And a big thank you as well to Harpoon Design, coming on board for all season this season with the NORA Retro Cup Series and giving us an opportunity to be here for these broadcasts in 2026. Kyle Tubb, he's not done. He's racing here with Bettini in the 10 car. This is for the 9th position. I mentioned it was Scott Riggs in the 10 back in 2005. It was Bobby Hamilton Jr. in the 32 that year. And again, this would be a huge run for either one of those two cars back in the day. This would be a big, big run to get a top 10 like this on one of these
Called out. He's
racetracks. So pit stop here for Bettini. He will come on in, and it seems like he will be alone. No, Cody Johnson comes there, or Cody Anderson rather, 33 car.
A big center right there for Bettini. Very speedy on entry. No black flags though. Hearing Christenberry's calling out, coming to the pit lane this time.
Christenberry running back in 7th. In the Joe Gibbs number 11, just ahead of Jacob Gladjulich. Got to wonder if maybe teammates will stick together here. Here's the pit entry, and yes, sir, they will.
Nice,
they will both come in
entry.
together. That will bring in the 32 of Tubb. And that'll be it this time.
No black flags, no speeding penalties yet.
I know it's the back end of the run. Yeah, Conover's making ground.
He's closed in about 0.4 of a second since he got by Hunter Sr., who has dropped back about a full second behind that 48 car. So, I don't know, Andrew, you said it earlier. We considered him, then we didn't consider him, now we're considering him again. I think it's safe to say that we should just consider him.
And there you see the previous lap times for these two drivers. Cheney last lap of 31.106. For Conover at 31.021. Pit stops are looming in the next 5 laps or so for these guys.
Brandon Jackson calling out to the pit lane.
Conover 0.2 faster that time. The Delta going to go up bottom right of your screen. And he's starting to make up the ground he needs, but is he only this good on the long run maybe? I mean, Cheney had him covered the first half of this run. Now Conover's starting to fight back. Is it going to be too little too late? Cheney's pitting. Cheney's pitting. No. He was just that slow. Wow.
It looked like it because a lot of these guys have been hanging off the white line just a tad. So it looked like it for a second as Conover actually lost a little bit of ground that lap, but still within striking distance should a mistake be made, which means Cheney needs to be perfect on his entry, and Conover either needs to join him in the pit lane or try to do the overcut, or even really maybe the undercut. Try and see what he could gain from doing either or, as he's pitting. Conover's pitting. To the pit lane goes the 48 car.
There he is.
That's what I was just talking about. He needs to do the opposite of the 14. Find a way to mix it around as the 66 of Blackwell comes in as well. You saw him just out of camera shot. There's the 25 coming out of the pit lane.
It's Matthew George in the 25 car. Conover into his box. Right behind the wounded Kevin Baumler machine. This could be a leg up for Conover. Let's see what Cheney does in response. He stays out.
Oh,
this
is big.
This will certainly shift, I think, this race. Get Conover back out there on those new tires, and I think he can pass the 14 car pretty easily.
I think Cheney
Question
needs to
is,
hit this time.
Yeah. Question is, though, can Cheney run him back down? We'll see.
Well, Conover's going to be coming out of the pit lane on new tires. So Cheney pitting this time would be the big thing. Yeah, there he goes. So Conover's on his outlap. I am starting to inherit your word jumbling you had early on in the broadcast, but Conover's on his outlap. Gonna get his lap back on the 14. Craig Martin's still on the racetrack. There goes Conover.
He's got to pass a few cars that pitted before him. He's going to pass that 7, now the 45. Those are both for position. They pitted before him. The 42 as well. Cody Smith was able to get back by the 48, so Conover's got some work to do.
This is what I was talking about. Pitting early seems to be the beneficial move. Conover's off of 4. Where's Cheney? He's just got passed by Kleba.
Well, and there's the 3. Tucker's going to certainly go by. Tucker's going to inherit, I think. Well, no, wait a minute. Kleba is far and away the leader. Kleba pitted just 12 laps to go. He pitted within range to go to the end. We've been talking Kleba, and we've been talking Conover and Cheney, and then suddenly Smith and Tucker. Kleba's got what will be the race lead by 5 seconds right now. How's that for a surprise?
That really just changed everything.
If we go green, this is the 9 cars race, 100%. I did not expect that kind of massive advantage for the 9. But even Conover is going to sort into, 4th place? I mean, Cheney's back here in what will be, I think, 6th? As there is Durheim in the pit lane. Chase Durheim, that is. The 16 has pitted. Now Craig Martin continues on. He has not yet pitted. He needs to within the next lap or 2. But Zach, I think we can go ahead and... I know our heads are still reeling from the revelation, that the 9 car is the leader, but 15 laps to go. It's time.
Driver of the day pick for me, I gotta go with Kleba. Because this has just been a well out and away strategy call that we didn't expect. We've been talking strategies up and down throughout the race, and this has got to be the biggest 100% gamer move that we've seen all race. So that's definitely going to be my first pick. I think second pick, I've been talking his praises all race long. I'm going to take Conover in that 48 car. He's been doing an absolute stand-up job. We talked about it, Andrew. He said it himself. This was his worst track. Oh, he squeezed right there. Perfect time to cue in on him. He said this is his worst mile and a half. Well, he's certainly making it known that he has got a car to contend tonight.
He's got his work cut out for him. Gets by Tucker right there, but just barely squeezes by the 3 car. Pass made. I definitely have to put Cody Smith on this list. He's now running what will be second here shortly. He's up 16 spots. That's going to go up once the 22 pits. He has now pitted, so make it 17 spots here at the moment until Conover passes him. But regardless, Cody Smith has to be on my list here. He's had a good start to the season, and here we go. He is powering that what would have been the Jamie McMurray 42 to a really good start here in 2026. And looking down the rest of the order, contact here between these two, maybe.
Really, really tight through 3 and 4. Conover tries to cut it back down to the bottom. Cheney's back into this mix. He could contend up here for the second spot. Potentially shape up and ship out on that 48 car.
Well, and he's my other pick that I'm trying to get to here, Kenneth Cheney. I think he just came alive at the right time, positioned himself well here late. I know he's got work in front of him right here with the 48 and the 42, but I think he should be able to at least pass the 42, if not also the 48 here, and try to start running that 9 car down. How likely is it that they run the 9 down? I don't know. But Cheney gets by Cody Smith.
Got by him very, very easily.
And that vote is now live. So over on YouTube, you can make your vote now for the North American Racing League Driver of the Day. We basically, I think, just went for the top 4. We did. Kleba, Conover, Cheney, Smith.
And once these two start fighting here, that's going to create a situation for Kleba to continue to drive further away. Really, really tight right there on the back bumper.
Oh my gosh.
Conover the wall.
He knocked that wall down. That looked like Chance Durheim's hit early. I'm surprised he's not slower for it. We'll see, though, here in the corner. What's he got? It seems okay for now. He's going to continue on. Third place still. The gap, though, from first to second, 3.3 seconds and closing. There's Kleba. Cheney trying to run him down. Just 10 laps to do it, Zach.
I think he's going to have enough time. I think Kleba's going to take that number 9 Everhand Motorsports car to victory lane, and we've seen that number 9 in victory lane quite a few times. We saw Bill Elliott take that car to victory lane in the early 2000s. We've seen Casey Kane in that race car take it to victory lane, and I think Dustin Kleba definitely wants to add his name onto that book, but it's 0.6 of a second that knocked that gap down, and well, you know what, Andrew? Maybe, just maybe, that 14 car could run that 9 car down. Went from 3.3 to 2.7 going into turn 1.
I think Cheney gets there, but remember, Zach, the more laps that Cheney runs to get there to the 9, the worse his tires will be for it. I mean, certainly he's going to have a 12-lap tire advantage, but obviously he's got to use rubber to get there.
Race?
Well, you know, I've been wrong before. I've been wrong many a time. Been wrong before in this broadcast. Regardless, right now, looking at the situation, I think the 14 gets very, very close. Does he pass him? I don't know yet. Because obviously, it's going to be late when he gets there.
Catching and passing are two totally different things.
Right. And Cheney's going to have probably about 15 laps in his tires once he gets there. You know, 13, 14, somewhere in there. He's got 11 laps on him now. And certainly at 1.9 seconds back, it's still going to be a few more laps before he runs that 9 car down. So, yeah, he'll have like 15 lap-old tires.
Conover is catching ever so slightly. He's not as close to Cheney, but he's still catching. 2.3 from Conover, 1.5 from Cheney. And the lap car is starting to create a bit of a headache for that 14 car. He ran up on the high side, couldn't get clear. Who is that lap car actually a little bit further?
Joseph Andujar, the 07.
Thank you. Rolling on that middle to bottom line, that's going to put some dirty air on the nose of the 14, and that has certainly closed the gap between the 14, the 9, and the 48.
Bottom of your screen.
30.666 for Conover. About similar to Cheney.
Yeah,
both of them 0.6 quicker.
No. Oh, yeah, you're right. I was, yep, you are correct. I wanted to correct you for a second there, but I was very wrong. Within a second now, Kleba had a bobble there off the corner. 5 laps to go. 3/4 of a second. 100%. Cheney's going to get there. But when they get to battling heads up, who is it going to be on the advantage? I don't know yet. And Conover's not far back.
All over time.
That would certainly change everything. 4 laps to go this time by. The window is closing. I think Cheney has just enough time. It's going to be close. 4 laps to go.
Count them.
The gap ahead, bottom right. He's there.
It's 1 second back. 1 second back to Conover from these two. And then Hunter Sr. has moved himself into the 4th spot. Cody Smith fighting with him at the moment to keep that car up there. But Cheney has caught. 3 laps to go this time by Andrew, rolling off of 4. There is the 14. Gets really close to the wall. Just about skims it. Now he's got to try to find a way around this 9 car. Got to race him. Got to block every lane. Use the dirty air. Keep that 14 right where you want him. Do not let him get to you. But that's letting Conover reel them in. 2 laps to go this time by. It's going to be popsicle sticks for Kleba. What are we going to do here? How are we going to settle this?
Kleba needs to back the 14 up. Cheney gets to his quarter panel. It's a heads-up race. The 9 got loose. Cheney's going to go low. He's underneath him. Oh, literally under the bumper. He's going to spin him. Dustin Kleba to the inside wall. Makes contact. Cheney drives away. There's the caution. We are not done.
Okay. I know I said overtime, but, like, come on. You
Dustin
and I cannot
Kleba.
be 1 for 1 on this.
Sheared the rear bumper off of that number 9 car. And he is not going to be happy.
Well, you gotta pay the dues where they lie. What did I just say? Gotta give credit where credit's due. That's what I was trying to say. I don't know where I was going with that sentence, but Kleba had to do what he had to do. He had to try to block the lane. He had to try to find a way to keep that car in front. This is rolling up off of turn number 3 and 4. You see Cheney get a really good rotation through center, and then exit speed is just way, way better. He doesn't quite get there, but he rolls off the corner a lot better, but Kleba still had the momentum on the outside, and well, there's the bumper.
Definitely an interesting situation. I don't know that Cheney necessarily did anything wrong. It's tough, though. I mean, it's literally 2 laps to go. But also, you gotta, well, he didn't even hit the guy until he got loose. So yeah, that's entirely on the 9. I mean, he just got loose. Honestly, at first, from the TV cameras, it looked like Cheney gave him the bumper to get him loose. But from that angle, on board the race car, you can tell Cheney did not do any such thing, and this might show it as well. Yeah, the 9 just got loose. That's just these cars with all that horsepower.
Got the feeling for Conover, who thought the race lead was in his grasp, and pit stops are now underway. This is the interesting situation that you have right now. Because
who takes 2?
Yeah.
Who
Actually,
stays
it's
out?
more the matter of who. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Oh my goodness. It's the matter of damned if you do, damned if you don't. And Tucker takes 2, Kite takes 2.
They're down on the
Conover
way.
gets stuck in the box.
Matthew George is scored as the race leader. I'm not really sure how. Okay, now it has reset. Hunter Sr. has stayed out. You mentioned it, though, for Conover. He took 4 tires. He's going to be back there behind Kleba, behind Gladjulich even. Cheney got out in what will be 8th place, but you see these several cars that stayed out on their existing set of tires. Senior, Smith, Jones, Norman, and Tubb.
I don't know how well you played. I would have stayed out. I 100% would have stayed out.
It depends on the position you're in, I suppose. I mean, if you're south of 15th, maybe try it, but frankly, Zach, there's no way these tires handle the way they need them to, even for a 2-lap run.
Are we going to see another McClure Motorsports win in that 4 car?
I'm calling it right now, no. I don't think so.
Come on.
I don't think so.
Cody Smith was pretty quick there at the end. Hunter Sr. ended up getting by him before the caution flag came out. Lights are out atop the pace car, so we are going to go green. This time by for 2 to go. The lap cars are all going to line up down on the bottom, and there you see the line of cars.
No, lap cars to the rear.
Oh, this is interesting.
Inside of 10 to go, lap cars go to the rear.
Oh, that is true. That is true. Well, first car on tires is going to be Kite and Tucker. They are a little bit further back in this lineup at the moment. I believe Tucker is 7th at the moment. Kite is 6th. So this is how we shake up things rolling into this. Like I was talking about earlier, Conover ends up getting stuck in the box. He loses quite a few spots. Took 4 tires. He's going to restart 12th.
Let's get to overtime rules, though. We've got them. MXDrafts.com overtime rules. 2 laps, a green lap and a white lap, then checkers. If the green lap is completed, the race is official. You just run the white back to the checkers. But if we get a caution here on the green lap, we will restart. We will try it over again. And I do believe we have unlimited attempts per the vote that was taken by team owners in the offseason. So we should have all the attempts we need at this one. 2 laps to go. Hunter Sr., the race leader, into the restart zone. What's going to happen here at Las Vegas? The green flag is back in the air. Single file. Let him rip. Already the 3 car down low. He's got help. The 14 with him. They're already to 5th.
Big move by the 14. He's going to send it around the outside of the 3 to try and put himself in position to get this win here. You've got Norman in the wall. 14 on his bumper. sideways. He saves the race car. Are we going to make it back to the white flag?
I think we
Yes,
are.
we will. White flag is going to be in the air one more time around, presented by Whiplash Simcams. It's Hunter Sr. out in front. Can he go 2 out of 3 races here on the season?
There's no way. There's no
There is
way.
a way. Where
Cheney.
there's a will, there's a way for the 4 car.
Cheney and Tucker split the 45. I don't think they can make it all up in just one corner. Hunter Sr., you've got to be kidding me. Through turns 3 and 4 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, they're going to have a run, but it won't be enough. Hunter Sr. wins again in 2005, this time at Las Vegas. Oh my goodness. The Morgan McClure 4, overpowered. I can't believe that.
Have you ever?
I have 2 weeks ago, and the 42 and 3 are not happy with each other. They had some extracurricular there. But Hunter Sr., I cannot believe it. I thought for sure those new tires would get there.
What did you say? Coming to the restart. What did I say? Could we see another Morgan McClure Motorsport win? And you said I'm calling it 100% no. You were 100% wrong, sir.
That's been the theme today, apparently. Hunter Sr., the number 4, victorious once again, and he will stay atop the power rankings. That is for dang sure. This is incredible.
Teammate Jared Skinner a lot further down the running order, but I think he's going to be just as happy for his teammate as Hunter Sr. is for himself at the moment. That was completely unexpected. I called it. I said, do you think we'd see overtime? You said it would change everything. At least you were right about that part.
Yeah, it definitely changed everything. I cannot believe this.
We didn't even have him written in on driver of the day. I mean, wow. It all came into effect there towards the end.
And you know what, Zach? This is when we go back onto Facebook really quick. Because our Who You Got post earlier today was specifically the 4 and the 4, or the 04 rather, on the graphic. Who you got? Do you have the 4 or the 04? Can they continue their streak of wins? Let's see, did anybody react? No. Nobody picked the 4. Nobody picked Hunter Sr. to win this race. Yet here he is, 3rd race of the season. Morgan McClure Motorsports owns all 3 wins.
2 of them are from Hunter Sr.
Unbelievable. Wow, I am speechless. And he burns it down and blows it up. I am speechless. I do want to get one more look at that restart if we can really quick. Give me just a moment to find it. This is just after the checkered. So let's go back here to... This is the green, Zach, and we'll just watch along. This is still just unbelievable.
To give credit where credit's due. This is why I said I absolutely 100% would have stayed out.
So there's the green flag, there's the restart, and watch the 3 here. He just goes low. Is able to get straight by Donald Kite, who also had tires. Granted, Kite had 2, but the 3 and 14 hooked up right away. They got their tires going. I think they hurt themselves. Why are you side by side here? Obviously, they're racing for the win. It's a rhetorical question, but then the 14 grabs the 7 of Norman. He finishes 11th. This is white flag, and they are behind the 45. They're what, 4th, 5th? 4th.
Just about.
Cheney gets held up low. That would have been the line to do it, Zach. If Jones wasn't there, maybe Cheney gets there. Then they race it back. We saw what happened ahead. Tucker and Cheney, a brief moment there into turn 3. And between them, Dalton Tucker races back and gets 3rd place. But Just unbelievable.
Gotta imagine what's going through Conover's head. He only got up to 8th position out of that as well. It could have gone way better than it did for quite a few drivers in the grand scheme of things. What an absolute way to end a race. 3 great races so far to start off this season. I mean, this has been some really exciting stuff.
Let's take a look through unofficial race results here this evening at Las Vegas. 240 plus miles later, it's Hunter Sr., Cody Smith, and Dalton Tucker, your top 3 at the line. I'm shook, as the kids would say. Boy, and there are plenty of cars here that you would not typically see at a 2005 top 10. But Hunter Sr. grabs the win. Second on the season already. He's going to keep the points lead, that's for sure. Hunter Sr., Cody Smith, Dalton Tucker, Kenneth Chaney, Donald Kite, your top 5. Kite certainly looked strong this season for that 21 car. Cody Anderson, a decent run, 6th place. Let's see, did he have tires at the end? He did. That explains it. Brian Jones stayed out. He finishes 7th. Josh Conover pitted. He finishes 8th. Gladgelich pitted. He finishes 9th. And Kyle Tubb for the old tires hangs on to a top 10.
Further on down, just outside the top 10, you'll find in that 11th spot, Ronnie Norman, after the little incident he had down the back straightaway. Got into the wall a little bit with 2 to go. Got sideways going into 3 and 4 with the little bit of contact that he had. John Skabnicki ends up 12th position with Brandon Jackson right behind him. Jake Christenberry, who is running up inside the top 10, ends up 14th. Dustin Kleba, who was leading with 2 laps to go on the scheduled distance, ends up 15th after his run into the inside wall. Dominic Bettini ends up 16th on the night with Chase Durheim after having such a strong run last week, ends up 17th here tonight at Las Vegas. Matthew George ends up 18th. Joseph Anjuar, the 3rd in the 19th position, ends up gaining a few spots there overall, with Noah Blackwell ending up in the 20th position when it's all said and done.
And back in 21st, you'll find Bruce Ackerman, his 2nd start of the season in that 84. John Border, a couple laps down in 22nd. All these guys, multiple laps down at this point. Chance Durham, 23rd. Jason Steptoe, 24th. Brad Fulham never really showed up tonight. Neither did Steptoe. A few of these guys never really got too much camera time. They just kind of were in the back, hanging on, waiting for their right time to shine, and it never happened. Fulham, 25th. Skinner, 26th. We saw what happened to him early. Craig Martin, I'm surprised he ended up down to 27th. He was, lively there towards the end. He stayed out late. I'm not really sure why he ended up 19 laps down, but ended up 27th spot. Nick Geilis, 28th. Got a few spots there towards the end, but still a rough day for him. Wayne Sparks, 29th, and you complete your top 30. Ryan Housden, we talked to him earlier on.
And further outside, Brady Moats, a bad day for that number 8 car, and he ends up 101 laps down in the 31st position. Nick Ham right behind him in the 32nd position. Christopher Heights ends up 33rd after his run-in early on in the race. Blade Timmons, don't really know what happened to him. Just ended up taking that car to the garage and called the day done. Vincent Arthur, another bad day for him as well. And then Kevin Baumler, really bad day. 36th for him on the day, 35th for Vincent Arthur. Just you hate to see it for a lot of these guys who had such strong speed. They were here to show it, and they didn't get the chance to show it. But that is how they run here at Las Vegas, Andrew. And we've got our top 3 standing by, and I'm sure that Hunter Sr. is going to be happy to talk to us again.
Yeah, I completely bet against it, Hunter. Last restart of the night, I said absolutely, there's no way the 4-car wins this race. You proved me wrong. What was going through your mind coming to the green flag, restart zone, hitting the gas? Did you think this would be the result?
I've lost way too many races off of, what those guys did in front of me where they pulled down pit road, and I thought, I'd rather do everything I can to, prove that I tried to go for the win. And on the restart, I knew if I could just get a good enough restart and keep the 42 behind me, and I knew I could make it to the white flag, it'd be good from there.
I really thought you'd be fine the first lap and in deep water the second lap. So, is this a matter of saving tires to make sure you still have tires late if there is a caution, or is it just new tires just don't come in that quick? What's the story there with these cars?
I think you mentioned it. I saved the tire enough. I was content on finishing 4th before that, caution with the 9 came out. So I was, I made it to 4th. I was gonna finish there, save the rest of my tires to hold off the 21 if he got to me, and just happened to be a caution. And those guys who did, they did pit. They started way too hard back in these single file restarts. Everybody wants to complain and cry about them, but I think they're the best things ever because you get people up there that you can pull strategy out like that and pull off a win out of nowhere.
Yeah, this race, I think, threw us for very many loops, for sure. In your experience, and obviously you're a rookie here to the series, but in your experience and your time on iRacing, do you think this is what we should expect the rest of these intermediate races, even maybe the rest of the season? This kind of unpredictability until the very end of the race?
I wouldn't, count it out. There's a lot of, you got a lot of guys who are going to be, rotating from the front to the back, and then you got guys who are going from the back to the front. It's random. Everybody in this league is, got a moment where they're all good, and then we all have our moments where we're going to do something stupid, And I honestly, like I said, I think that you can expect it because you're going to have guys like tonight where I was running in the 20s all race and got a lucky break, and out of nowhere I found myself in the front on some lucky strategy, and you can expect it. It's going to be. Hopefully for you guys, it was fun to watch. Hopefully that was a lot of fun on that last restart. So I would expect it.
It was definitely an entertaining race through and through, and I mean, this is going to keep you atop the points standings, of course, the chase as well, keep you atop the power rankings. How big of a deal is that to you to, I think you were even surprised at Daytona to walk away with that win. Now you have a second one here in the third race. Does this change how you initially, when you signed up for the league, I'm sure you had an expectation of how the season might go. Has that changed now?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, last season, I was running with Dalton and Ryan, and those two guys were amazing to work with, and learned a lot racing with Dalton. Sorry, I learned a lot racing with him, and I knew coming into the season there was a lot of guys that are fast. Josh, I saw tonight Wayne Sparks is fast. My teammate Kenny and Jared, both of those guys, they're extremely fast. So I came into the season, maybe get one or two lucky wins. Maybe that's it. Maybe even have only one, but to pull it off, especially this track, I was not having fun. It was not a fun track to race, especially in this car, at least for me. There's a lot of guys who like it, but it was a pain halfway through that race. And if you would have told me that I had a chance at winning tonight, I would have called you insane for it. So it broke my expectations already, winning Daytona, but be able to come here and do it tonight I'm beyond ecstatic, honestly.
Boy, one of these big team owners needs to sign you to a good ride for 2006, because 2 wins already. Boy, what a season for you so far, and we'll be talking to you, I'm sure, more this season, Hunter. Congratulations.
Yes, sir. May I give a shout out to my sponsors and everybody we work with?
Absolutely, always.
So, we on the cars, we got it painted for me, Jared, and Donald, Juicy Spider, the greatest group of guys on the planet with Mike, Nick, Josh, Donald, Jared, and I, bringing in more people, not just on the track. Hopefully we proved it these last 3 weeks of us being able to sweep the wins these last 3 weeks. It's unreal to think about us doing this, but not just on the track. We have the editing and YouTube and everything these guys do. That's just absolutely amazing and incredible. And it's just, they're growing so much, and to be able to have them on the car, be able to work with them, and be able to have such a great group of guys to be a part of, it's unreal. And then not just that, but we have Splash and Go Graphics. All of our other teammates in here that we work with in other leagues, like Kyle, Noah, he showed up tonight. It's his first start. I said Jared, Donald, and then Kyle, and then everybody, Josh Adams, everybody, Juicy Spider. It's amazing, and it's amazing to be a part of these guys. And thank you so much for the broadcast. I can't wait to go back and watch it.
That was a good one for sure. Again, congratulations, Hunter, and I know we'll be talking to you again this season.
Yes, sir. I hope you guys have a good night, and thank you again.
You as well, Hunter Sr., a second race win in just 3 races here in the 2005-2026 season, Zach, but boy, Cody Smith, just shy. I got to think, what could have been for the 42 car?
Absolutely. Got so close so many times, Cody. You had such a great chance to try and go for the win. I know you were fighting quite a bit earlier on and late in the race to try and get that win. Came up 1 spot short, though. How's it feel to get it done here tonight in second spot?
Man, two seasons in a row at Vegas, I've come home second. So I love this place. Just got to get 1 spot better. Hopefully we go back here later in the year. maybe we can get a win. It was fun all night. I overdrove the car late in the race. I'm a little mad at myself for that, but second place, great points night. Trying to get back up in the standings to where we're contending for a championship, so I couldn't ask for a better night.
That's all anybody wants to do come towards the end of the season is be competing for that championship. And with a solid points gain coming out of here, I mean, a bit of a, I want to say a Kansas curse, but we'll call it a Vegas curse. The dice didn't fall in your favor to win the race, but how do you feel rolling into Atlanta next week? Also another 1.5 miles, but going to be a little bit different to drive.
Yeah, another 1.5 miles, old surface, so it's all about taking care of your stuff and, you know, getting back on that throttle easy. So it's another place that's in my wheelhouse. Hopefully we can put another top 5 together, another great points night, and we should come out of there with a good result. I got to qualify better, though. Starting 19th tonight and then having to get to the front, it's hard work. So I got to go qualify here in a minute, and I got to qualify a lot better.
Absolutely, one can understand that. Well, you put on one heck of a show tonight. I think we all speak for the viewers out there and for us up here in the booth that it was exciting to watch that finish there. And, you know, I think you're going to have a good run for you, and we wish you the best of luck going into next week.
Yeah, I'd just like to shout out my smoking hot wife. She's so supportive. And then we got a 9-month-old baby who's so fun to take care of. And they just make it fun to do these races. They're always watching and supporting me. So give them a shout out, and all my friends that were watching tonight. I really appreciate them.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations to you again on your second place finish. Hopefully we'll be talking to you more this season, and especially going into Atlanta next week. Congratulations.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a good night. Phenomenal broadcast.
And I don't think I've ever heard a happier second place finisher, Andrew. That's one heck of a way to look at this race. That's
Cody Smith. He's a good sport.
I remember the reference that he was making there too. That was a funny one.
He's a good sport there for second place, but down in third, it's the number 3 this evening, Dalton Tucker. And Dalton, obviously, last week, a sore result for sure. Not what you wanted after that big incident in turn 2, but able to properly show off your speed to a point tonight. You had a great run going. What happened there early?
Shoot, it felt great that first run. I think I really was able to show the speed that we did have tonight, and that was a good feeling. After that, just got stuck behind Cody and also Nick and just could not get around them. Caution comes out again. We end up pitting, and I'm just not paying attention. Get a pit lane speeding penalty and go straight to the back. And I mean, it's a dogfight back there. It's hard to pass. You get just kind of stuck in the air. So I was kind of playing with the different pit strategies to make up time, and it slowly worked. I don't think I would have finished where I did, obviously, but I was just trying to flip everything once I got stuck back there, and it was going to get me a decent finish, but not where I thought I could have been.
You mentioned it's a dogfight back there, and it's hard to get your positions back. It feels like most of the field can all hang in the top 5, but can also get mired back in like 25th. Would you say that's about accurate?
Yeah, I mean, I went from, I think, 3 seconds up that first run and probably 6 seconds up on the majority of the front runners, and immediately get to the back shortly after that. And I mean, I'm struggling back there. It's tough, and I'm not gonna say I was absolutely the fastest tonight, but I was one of the faster cars, and it was that hard to pass back there. So I mean, I'm extremely lucky to come away with a third.
And it's going to be even harder to pass, I think, next week at Atlanta. Certainly, maybe more room for errors, so you can pressure guys into a mistake easier, but it's hard to set passes up on these intermediates in these cars. How do you attack a place like that?
It's a lot of strategy and a lot of multiple laps ahead. You're thinking, all right, where do I need to put the car for these next couple laps to open up a door, maybe on the exit of this corner? And I mean, it's tough when that high line is also, I'm not going to say it's just as fast over a course of a run, but it's pretty close. But people can get on that outside of you, and it's very hard to pass on the inside. And I think Atlanta's going to be exactly like that with the top in 1 and 2. And your passes are really just going to happen. Maybe try to come off of turn 4 below someone and carry that speed all the way across the front. And it's going to be tough. It's going to be definitely a mind game with a lot of guys trying to set them up and kind of make them guess where you're going to be and hope they guess wrong.
There you go. Dalton Tucker grabs himself a podium finish here at Las Vegas. I think more of these should be on the way for you, so hopefully we're talking to you again soon, but best of luck out there in Atlanta next week.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Obviously, shout out to my teammates. It was a rough night for them, but hopefully next week we'll get them back.
There's always next week, and Dalton Tucker, I think, has a good season set ahead for him, Zach, and I think certainly that DEI team, they're all capable. You know, Housden, Baumler, Tucker especially, they're all capable of good finishes, but boy, they've had bad luck. It's just been one of those seasons so far. I know Baumler came into tonight in a good spot in the standings, but I know he's even had a roadblock or two, an obstacle or two. It's just one of those things. It's part of it, Zach. It's part of running a 36-race season. There will be these moments like this, but you have plenty of time to get back into contention. And you know, here's a look at the schedule. The next 3 races, for example, Atlanta, Bristol, Martinsville. I mean, those are southern rough and tumble racetracks that have been in NASCAR forever.
That they are. And I, for one, am really excited for Martinsville. I'm so excited for Martinsville. It's one of my favorite tracks ever. Maybe aside from Hickory and Charlotte, but I love Martinsville. It was one of the first tracks I was ever exposed to when it came to being on the NASCAR scene. So I always love watching the racing there and seeing how it unfolds, and just these cars put on quite a show at that track. So I'm super excited for it. That's going to be in the next 3 weeks. Atlanta's going to be one heck of a nail biter, I'm sure, because of how the tires wear at that track, with old Atlanta, that is. It's going to create a bit of a nail biter. And then Bristol's coming up. These next 3 weeks are going to be some really great races.
Yeah, and again, I mean, we're going to have legacy versions anywhere that it applies. So we had the Legacy Daytona for week 1. We'll have Legacy Atlanta next week, Legacy Texas in week 7, Legacy Phoenix in week 8. I don't recall. I can never recall, because I know Legacy Charlotte was supposed to be retired, and even if it's not currently, there's time for it to be retired by the time we get there in May. So we'll see what we've got there. I think we should be at Legacy Pocono in Michigan in the summer. Then there's not really another option for Legacy racing until Daytona for the 19th.
Not anymore, because they technically run the layout.
My internet dropped there for a second. We are back, I believe. What I was saying there was we'll have Legacy Pocono in Michigan, and Legacy Daytona again in July, I believe, even though they don't have night abilities there at Daytona on the Legacy version. That should be Legacy Pocono, and you get the idea. So we'll have those Legacy tracks mixed in, but excuse me, we do want to award we do want to award the North American Racing League Driver of the Day award. It will go to the number 48 of Josh Conover. Give me a moment to actually be able to get to him in the broadcast, as there is the number 48, Josh Conover, Driver of the Day.
You'll love to see it. Did a good job to try and keep himself in contention. I'm gonna say it again, Andrew, because realistically speaking, I think it was the best move to make. He should have stayed out. I would not have pitted those top 2 cars. I just would not have pitted.
Certainly, in hindsight, absolutely should have stayed down. He would have been ahead of those cars, but it is what it is. You live and you learn, and I think now we'll see these guys maybe overwhelmingly switch to staying out should that situation present itself again. But Josh Conover still a Driver of the Day, an 8th place finish, not bad. You know, he'll put up some good points for himself and put himself in better position certainly for the chase ahead. So. Definitely still a good night, I think, for Josh here at Las Vegas. Led a bunch of laps, didn't lead laps, I guess, but was up front most of the night. Certainly a lot to build on as this season goes on. And Zach, we can take a look at what's upcoming for us. There you go. There's a look at it. Tomorrow night, back in action with the BRB Sundance Pro Series. They just wrapped up their practice race at Talladega, but ARCA Cars, Talladega, what more could you ask for? And then Thursday, our final doubleheader here of the winter. We'll have the North American Racing League at Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the AM drivers. So the BRB guys get some double duty, as a few of them will dip over into the GT3 cars at Indianapolis this Thursday. And then we go racing for the final time this season with the Sarah Super Series at Southern National Motorsports Park, the final race of their 12-race calendar for points. Going to be a lot of fun.
So much fun. I'm super excited to see how all those races are going to play out. We always see amazing racing from the Sarah series and from really all the series that we broadcast here on Pit Stop TV. I'm excited for it. I know you're excited for it. Plenty of places to follow along. It's going to be www.pitstoptv.com, facebook.com / I'm having internet troubles myself. / Pit Stop TV, Instagram.com / Pit_Stop_TV, TikTok.com / Pit_Stop_TV. No, TikTok.com / Pit Stop TV1, Twitch.tv / Pit_Stop_TV, YouTube.com / Pit Stop TV1, and X.com / Pit Stop TV_. Lots of great places to follow along, lots of great races to follow coming up, and I think there has got to be some good viewers going into Talladega because you don't ever want to miss a super speedway race.
Oh, Dega's going to be great. Excuse me. I know Arca was just at Daytona this past week, and that's always a fun race for those guys. And taking those cars plate racing is always a blast. And certainly, I think Indianapolis showed itself as a chaotic place for GT3 cars to go last week with the pro race. The AM drivers tend to be a little more calm, but who knows? And then Southern National. The Great Eastern Carolina Mixing Bowl, if you will. I'm excited for that one, Zach, to cap off the Sarah Super Series season. And then I will say, this Sunday morning, actually, we have the third race, second broadcast, but third race of the All-American Racing Network season. Gen 7 Cup cars, Dover Motor Speedway. A little early for Dover here in the year, but Dover Motor Speedway on the calendar, third up on the season for AARN. That should be fun. That's this Sunday morning to cap off our week of racing here at the channel. That'll, of course, do it for us here at Pit Stop TV. Zach, any final thoughts here?
Bring me more of this series. Bring me more now. Please.
Yeah, it was fun. We have a lot of great races to look forward to through the course of 2026. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I think we will all season long, and boy, what a great start to this calendar year for sure. A big thank you, of course, goes down to Harpoon Design, but also our partners here at the channel, Whiplash Simcams, MXWraps.com, ATVO, Murtis Esports, CC's Business, and the North American Racing League. Also, for that matter, a big thank you to Clark Contracting. Harpoon and Clark Contracting, kind of the big series sponsors so far here in this season of racing. That will do it for us, though, from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Zach, thanks so much for being here. As always, it has been a fun one, but we'll catch you all next time. Atlanta coming up next for the series. We'll see you all there, or hopefully even tomorrow night for the BRB Sundance Pro Series at Talladega. Zelazny might have a run here. He pulls up. 2 laps to go at Auto Club Speedway. What a run this has been. 5 cars out front just dancing around for the lead. Salas back to the bottom. Honeycutt stuck up top. Slide job out of Salas. Crossover out of Honeycutt.
23 showing a big run here. He does.
You see Salas starting to cover it up. He goes up the racetrack. Honeycutt's clear of them both. He shoves it up in front of the 23, gets himself loose. It'll be white flag this time by. Salas down low. Zelazny looking for a hole. Side by side, 3 wide, Coffee in it, white flag is in the air, 1 lap to go. Brought to you by Whiplash Simcams. Who is going to win the Luke's Playhouse 200? Honeycutt controlling the race. Coffee in second. Tires are aging. Zelazny off the top rope. Got a little bit free. He's going to crash with lights. And yes, wall there. Who knows? Honeycutt, though, leading the race. Can Coffee get a run? He's going to send it. He hits him. Big bump and run. Coffee's going to try and get away. Can Salas get there? Coffee's going to crash. Salas is going to crash. Watch Nick Lights here to the stripe. Salas is going to do it with no front bumper.
Unbelievable.
Wow. There's the white flag from Barney the Flagman. 1 lap to go at Long Beach. White flag is out, brought to you by Whiplash Simcams.
Yeah, can Rayleigh hold him off? He looked like he's started to gap Cantonio just ever so slightly. Got about half of a second. It's been hovering right around there. Oh, Cantonio really pushing. He's sideways out of turn number 1. But Rayleigh just keeping that car pointed in the right direction. Nice and smooth, able to keep it going. It's going to be tough. Antonio knows that there's not very many chances, even if he can get close enough to him to make a move. So we'll see as they come through 6 and 7, head toward turn 8, onto the backstretch.
Deeper in the field, nothing changing. Lap traffic ahead. It's Kevin Peak and Bradley Alvis right in front of our race leaders down East Seaside Way. And to turn number 9 for the final time. Lap traffic in the way, and Rayleigh goes for it on Peak. He sends it into turn 9. He knows he can't wait. He knows he can't give an opportunity to Kevin Cantonio. Cantonio's going to take it anyway. Ships it into the hairpin, and Rayleigh's going to get away. Thomas Rayleigh is going to be a race winner in the North American Racing League. A last lap bump and run wasn't enough. This man wins at Long Beach.
Wow, what a finish coming through that hairpin. I thought they were all going to wad it up. We had lap traffic in there, staying in there.